Just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Quoted by every runner or hiker at some point in time during a race or hike. On today's episode, I am sharing a few updates as well as sharing with you a few reminders. You have the power to be the boss of your own life. I'm your host, Monica Allen. I'm a wife, mom, entrepreneur, best-selling author, lifelong learner, and your biz bestie. I have a love and passion for all things small business. Growing my own company from $700 to over 7 figures annually, my goal is to bring you inspiration, business-focused topics and tips, encouragement, and a community that helps you launch, grow, and scale your business, whether you are a dreamer, a side hustler, or a seasoned entrepreneur. You are listening to the Become Your Own Boss podcast. Do you have a conference or an event to attend and you just need 1 or 2 shirts to promote your company or brand? Here at Zeus's Closet, where we are like a tattoo shop for your clothes, we've got you covered. With no order minimums on embroidery or direct to garment, you can order just 1 item. Get a polo shirt for a conference or a t-shirt or jersey for a concert. Visit Zeus'sCloset.com for more information. I hope you have been enjoying the throwback episodes. This past week, Ethan and I traveled to St. Lucia to celebrate our 20th wedding anniversary. It was great because this year our kids had a full week of winter break, so grandparents could keep them without having to factor in morning drop-offs and carpool pickup. We decided on our first day we would hike Gros Piton, which is one of their mountains that are pretty famous for the area. It takes approximately 2 hours to go up and 2 hours to come back down, and they recommend you take about 1.5 liters of water per person on the way. And they of course recommend that you wear sneakers or hiking shoes. I wore hiking shoes. I had hiking shoes from when we went to Africa and Egypt on safari, and so I had those already, and so I was prepared. There are what I would call little mini summits along the way where you can rest and enjoy these absolutely stunning views of the island as you go up. As I mentioned before, I always seem to learn something when I'm on vacation, and I wanted to just share with you really quickly 2 or 3 of my takeaways from this particular vacation. One is just taking a break. Stepping away from work is imperative when it comes to gaining some perspective and feeling refreshed. I was really proud of Ethan. He decided to lock away his phone one day in the safe, and he didn't post. He didn't really do anything, and he left it there for, I believe, 24 hours. I did not do that, but I'm also pretty good about just putting my phone to the side for at least a couple of hours and not doing stuff on it. But I was super proud of him for doing that, and it was just such a great time for us to talk and just kind of nap and hang out and have fun. Another thing was take your time and enjoy the views. So I often find whenever I am hiking or running, I want to get to the finish. That is the goal. But in this case, along the way, there were so many points where you could see beautiful plants, beautiful flowers, unique trees, unique birds, gorgeous views overlooking the ocean and mountains and hills. And it was just such a beautiful thing to enjoy and take a moment to breathe in the fresh air and not rush. And that is unique because usually every day during the week I'm rushing off to the office or rushing the kids off to school. It's always a constant one thing right after the other. But taking time to slow down and enjoy the views and breathe was magnificent and much needed. And then lastly, service. I am certain that most people who listen to this podcast are business owners or desire to be business owners. And if that's the case for you, service is so vital and so important. The resort that we stayed at was called Ladera Resort. It is an adult-only resort, but the service was impeccable. You called, they answered in 1 or 2 rings. They met your request, whatever you needed, they were there. The service was absolutely unbelievable. And that will be remembered. That will be shared to friends and to family. And so hopefully other people will go to St. Lucia and will enjoy that same experience that we had. So thinking about that for us as business owners, service is truly important. The service that we give to our clients or customers will have them coming back. We'll have them talking about us in the future. And so we do want to think about those things and really figuring out how can we make our customer experience even better, make our service even better. So those were just a few of my takeaways from this trip. And it was so enjoyable and so much fun. And I'll stop talking about it now, but it was just a much needed break. I guess I should add that we did make it to the top. And it really was about, for me, mentally saying to myself, just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Because initially I thought this trail was going to be really, maybe going up in a circle around this hill, and it was going to be tough. But it ended up being really where you kind of went straight up in some places, and these steps were really big and high, and you had to really kind of reach and stretch. And all in all, we got through it. We made it to the top. It took us about 2.5 hours to get through the first half, because we did stop and we did enjoy the views and we took pictures and all the things. And once we got to the top, we stayed up there quite a bit because the view was so gorgeous. We made it, and then we made it back down. And the next day, my legs were so sore, honestly, from coming down more so than going up, which I found unpredictable. I didn't expect that. So we did make it to the top, and I did want to circle back and just add that part. Mission accomplished. I also want to take a moment to remind you of the accountability group that I'm kicking off on March 1st. Again, if you're interested in being a part of the group, please go to my website and click right at the top and book a call with me. You can also find that same link in the show notes. I would love for you to be a part of the group if you are really ready to accomplish those big goals you set for yourself at the beginning of this year. And my last reminder is the 6th season of this podcast kicks off on Friday, March 3rd. I am thrilled, absolutely thrilled and excited to be bringing you episodes around burnout, social media, public relations, your brain, your finances, some dope entrepreneurs, and so much more. So go ahead and push that subscribe button so you don't miss anything. Also, take a moment to rate this podcast. You can do that now. You don't have to wait for the new season. You can go ahead and rate the podcast. You can go to Apple or Spotify and rate the podcast. Remember, we are talking about us being the boss of every area of our lives, including our business. So let's get ready to level up, leave a legacy, and become your own boss. Join me next week as we kick off season 6 of the Become Your Own Boss podcast.